Hey, Heartland fans! Today we will discuss the issue that has been bugging us for the past year, Ty's disappearance from Heartland. Whenever a main character leaves a show, it leaves us with a bad taste in our mouths. As the audience, we like to see them stay until the very end and have a happy ending if possible. This is because we feel that our years-long investment in the character finally pays off. However, if they leave the show suddenly through a surprising incident, it feels like a betrayal, which is exactly what we felt when Ty left Heartland. Ty, played by Graham Wardle, was a central part of Heartland, having been in the show since its very first episode, released back in 2007. Ty's story. Ty came from a deeply troubled and dysfunctional family. His father had been absent from his life from the very beginning, leaving Ty without a positive male role model during his formative years. This absence left a void in Ty's life and created a sense of instability in his childhood. Adding to the challenges, his mother remarried a man who turned out to be abusive. This stepfather wasn't just verbally abusive, his behavior escalated to physical violence. The abuse was not only directed at Ty, but also at his mother, creating a toxic and dangerous home environment. As a child, Ty was forced to grow up faster than most kids his age. He witnessed the hardships his mother endured and often bore the brunt of his stepfather's anger. Over time, the constant stress, fear, and lack of safety took a toll on Ty's mental and emotional well-being. Despite these hardships, Ty displayed remarkable resilience. He tried to protect his mother as much as he could, often standing up to his stepfather even though it put him in harm's way. Eventually, things reached a breaking point. One day, in an act of desperation and courage, Ty physically confronted his stepfather in an attempt to defend his mother. Unfortunately, this confrontation didn't bring about the change Ty had hoped for. Instead of standing by her son, his mother, perhaps out of fear or denial, failed to support him. Feeling abandoned and betrayed, Ty was left with no choice but to leave home, severing ties with the only family he had ever known. This pivotal moment marked the beginning of a new chapter in Ty's life, one that was filled with uncertainty, but also the hope of finding safety and stability. Fate led Ty to the Heartland Ranch, where he met Jack Bartlett, a man who had his own share of heartbreak after losing his daughter. Despite his initial reservations, Jack saw potential in Ty and decided to give him a chance. Jack provided Ty with a place to stay and a job as a stable boy at the ranch. For the first time in his life, Ty found himself in a supportive environment where he was treated with kindness and respect. This newfound stability allowed him to begin healing from the trauma of his past. At Heartland, Ty not only found a surrogate family, but also met Amy, who would eventually become the love of his life. Their relationship began as a friendship but grew into a deep bond that would define both their lives. Ty's journey from a broken home to a loving and supportive community at Heartland is a testament to his strength, determination, and ability to overcome adversity. At one point, Ty had enough and stood up to him to protect his mother. Unfortunately, she did not stand up for Ty, and he had to leave his home. This difficult journey led him to the Heartland Ranch, where he met Jack, who had recently lost his daughter. The entire Heartland family was in mourning, but they welcomed Ty with open arms. Jack provided Ty with a place to stay and a job at the ranch as a stable boy. This was more than Ty expected, and he remained grateful to the family for the rest of his life. As a bonus, he met Amy, his one true love. Both were teenagers when they met and experienced love for the first time. For a couple of years, we watched a coming-of-age story through the lives of Amy and Ty, who were both kind, hard-working individuals trying to figure out their feelings for each other. Even though it took a few more years for them to enter an official relationship, once they did, their bond was unbreakable. They were a great team, supportive and respectful toward one another, and always there for each other. Their love was both dreamy and realistic at the same time. At times, it felt like something out of a fairy tale. Yet, their sincerity made the relationship feel authentic. After their marriage, they had a lovely daughter named Lindy, who became the sunshine of their lives. They couldn't wait to raise her together. For 4 short years, everything seemed perfect. Fans were getting used to seeing Amy, Ty, and Lindy as an inseparable family. Sadly, this all came to an end when Graham Wardle decided to leave the show. Graham Wardle's departure. Graham Wardle had been a cornerstone of Heartland for nearly 14 years, becoming an integral part of the show and its legacy. Joining the cast at a young age, Wardle quite literally grew up on screen. His portrayal of Ty Borden allowed audiences to watch not only the character's journey, but also his own personal and professional growth as an actor. When Wardle first took on the role of Ty, he was stepping into one of his earliest major acting projects. It was a formative experience, both in terms of his career and his life. Over the years, Heartland became more than just a job for Wardle. It became a second home. The cast and crew developed a strong bond, feeling more like a family than colleagues. The ranch, the horses, and the Alberta landscape became part of his identity, deeply tied to who he was during his formative years. However, as the years went by, Wardle began to reflect on his journey and the direction of his life. While being part of a long-running, beloved series is a dream for many actors, it also comes with its challenges. Playing the same character for over a decade can feel creatively limiting, and for someone with ambitions beyond acting, the routine can begin to feel confining. Wardle eventually realized that while he cherished his time on Heartland, he was ready for a change. He expressed a desire to explore new opportunities and step outside the comfort zone of the show. It wasn't an easy decision leaving behind a role and a community that had shaped so much of his life, but it was one he felt was necessary for his personal growth. His decision to depart wasn't made lightly. Wardle gave the showrunners and his fellow cast members 2 years' notice, allowing them time to adjust the storyline and prepare for his exit. This level of foresight and professionalism demonstrated his respect for the Heartland family and the fans. When the news of his departure became public, fans were shocked and, in many cases, heartbroken. Ty had become a fan favorite, and his relationship with Amy was one of the emotional pillars of the show. For millions of viewers, Heartland without Ty seemed almost unimaginable. The announcement led to widespread disappointment, with many fans voicing their frustration and even deciding to stop watching the show altogether. Despite the backlash, Wardle stood by his decision. He knew that stepping away from Heartland was a necessary step for his own well-being and growth. He later explained that he wanted to pursue other interests, particularly in the realm of storytelling and media. Since leaving the show, Wardle has explored new avenues, including launching his own podcast. Through this medium, he has been able to engage with fans and share his thoughts on a variety of topics, ranging from his personal life to broader philosophical ideas. His podcast has featured notable guests, including former Heartland cast members, giving fans a chance to reconnect with some of their favorite characters in a new way. In addition to his podcast, Wardle has maintained a presence on social media, where he shares glimpses of his life and interacts with fans. However, not all of his posts have been well received, particularly his outspoken views on certain controversial topics, such as his stance against vaccines. These opinions have sparked further debate among fans, with some supporting him and others criticizing his perspective. Regardless of differing opinions, one thing is clear: Graham Wardle has closed the chapter of Heartland in his life. While his decision to leave might have disappointed fans, it's important to recognize his courage in stepping away from a role that had defined him for so long. He chose to prioritize his own happiness and pursue new passions, demonstrating that growth often requires difficult choices. For those who love Ty Borden, his departure remains a bittersweet moment in the history of Heartland. While some fans continue to hope for his return, Wardle has shown no signs of revisiting the series. Instead, he has embraced the challenge of building a new path for himself, showing the same determination and resolve that made Ty such a beloved character in the first place. This is exactly what happened. Wardle expressed a desire to explore other areas of the entertainment industry. While his decision to move on with his life is reasonable, it felt sudden to fans, as Ty and Amy were finally living their happily ever after. That said, it's hard to imagine any time feeling like the right moment for Wardle to leave. For many, Heartland without Ty was unthinkable. To his credit, Wardle informed the showrunners and his fellow actors of his intentions 2 years before leaving the show. Although the news was shocking for fans, it wasn't unexpected for his colleagues. As expected, millions of fans were outraged by the announcement. Many refused to believe it was true, and some stopped watching the show in protest, feeling that Heartland without Ty wasn't worth watching. Wardle, however, remained steadfast in his decision. To this day, he has ignored fans' pleas for his return. Instead, he has ventured into other areas, including starting a podcast, which seems to be doing well. He even invites familiar faces to his podcast, such as Jessica Amley, who played Mallory Wells on Heartland. He's also active on social media, particularly Instagram. Some of his views, however, have caused backlash, especially his anti-vaccine stance. Regardless, it's clear that Graham Wardle has closed the Heartland chapter of his life and doesn't plan to return to the show anytime soon. While some speculate that he might have left due to unhappiness on set or issues with the showrunners or actors, it seems the main reason behind his departure was simply his desire to try new things. We know it's not easy to accept Ty's absence, even a year later, but we feel we must respect Wardle's decision. What do you think about Wardle leaving Heartland? Do you think he made the right decision for his career and the show? Do you believe Heartland needs Ty to remain relevant and keep its fandom together? Share your thoughts in the comments section and subscribe our channel. Next Level. Press the bell icon for more Heartland updates. Thanks.